RUSI's just published a paper of mine on the prospects for defence spending in the UK after the election. We all know there's going to be a major spending review after the election. Political parties, of course, are emphasising where they're going to spend more or tax less, but they all recognise that the country still has to make significant further progress in reducing the budget deficit, and that will mean some very hard decisions. And so far, the major political parties have promised to protect the budget for health and schools and old age pensions, some of the biggest parts of the total budget, but they haven't said what they're going to do about defence. Defence is the largest unprotected department in the current government budget. And if that continues through and after the election, it may not be good news for defence. The paper I published for RUSI looks at two main scenarios. A plausible optimistic scenario, which is that the Minister of Defence maintains its current planning assumptions, which broadly speaking gives it very slow but real increases each year for the rest of the decade. And what I call a plausible pessimistic scenario, which is a 10% real cut over 4 years, which is actually the implied cut, reading the documents the Treasury has already produced on public spending going forward. My judgment is it's not plausible to expect the UK to meet the NATO 2% target for the next 5 years, because it would involve increasing the defence budget in real terms each year above what the MoD is basing its current force planning on. Of course, it would be welcome to the armed forces if they got this extra $6 billion a year in 2020 compared with current planning assumptions. But because the defence budget is one of the larger government budgets, you can't hide an increase of that sort. You would have to finance it from somewhere. And that means either, I think, significant tax rises in order to pay for the NATO 2% target, or a significant dilution of government plans for the government deficit, essentially abandoning or at least postponing the austerity programme, the austerity targets that the government has set itself. And I think that's going to be very hard, and it's my judgment that we're not there yet. We are not, after all, in a world in which everybody else in NATO is increasing their defence budget and we are not. Most European countries are either reducing their defence budget or have budgets which in any case are well below that of the UK. The UK has been one of the better performers in NATO in terms of defence spending. Where I think there will be a problem if we don't reach the 2% is in Washington, in the United States administration, even more Congress, revising their view of the reliability of the UK as an ally. And I think there will have to be a lot of work done to persuade the Americans that the UK will still be a significant military power. If it doesn't, that it's not making major cuts in the defence budget. But the UK has traditionally been the US's most important ally in Europe. I think it will continue to be that. But that image will be tarnished, I think, as and when the UK falls below 2%, as I think they will do.